Welcome to Vancouver, where the margins for error drop to zero in this 2026 World Cup Round of 32 knockout clash. Switzerland has carved out a reputation as Europe's premier giant killers. They are the team that consistently drags heavyweights into deep waters, having knocked out both France and Italy in recent European championships. But they carry a very specific historical kryptonite into this match. Go back to the 2014 World Cup, and you'll find the last time these two met on a major stage, Algeria shattered the Swiss system with a 2-1 group stage upset. That victory was built on pure, unadulterated speed. Algeria bypassed the midfield entirely, using explosive counterattacks to relentlessly disrupt Switzerland's normally rigid defensive lines. Today, Algeria arrives with a complicated profile. They dominated their World Cup qualifying campaign, yet they are still shaking off the ghosts of a highly disappointing early exit at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Pacing quickens. This sets up a classic tactical clash. On one side, you have European systemic consistency, a machine built to limit variables. On the other, North African explosive dynamism, a team built to thrive in chaos. Evaluating this matchup means answering one practical question. Can a meticulously proven defensive structure withstand a highly volatile opponent who already knows exactly how to break them? That structure belongs to head coach Murat Yakin. His philosophy is straightforward. Defensive solidity takes absolute priority over expansive attacking. Yakin deploys a low-risk defensive block. The team compresses the space between their defenders and midfielders, effectively building a wall right through the center of the pitch to survive the sudden death nature of tournament football. The primary outcome here is risk management. By minimizing the chance of conceding early goals, Switzerland forces technically superior opponents into grinding, exhausting physical matches. But this setup comes with a severe trade-off. By committing so many resources to maintaining shape, the Swiss sacrifice their own spontaneous attacking flair. Because they rely heavily on grinding out narrow 1-0 victories or dragging games to penalty shootouts, they operate with virtually zero margin for error. If that defensive line suffers even a momentary lapse of concentration under intense physical pressure, they often lack the offensive firepower required to chase the game and equalize. The Swiss system trades a high-scoring ceiling for an incredibly high floor of reliability. You have to crack their structure early, or they will slowly drain the life out of the match. On the opposite bench, Vladimir Petkovic operates with a totally different mandate. He channels Algeria's offensive output into high-paced, vertical counterattacks. Rather than slowly building possession, Algeria acts like a coiled spring. The moment they win the ball, they intentionally bypass the central midfield, launching it directly to their wingers on the flanks. This ability to score in sudden flashes perfectly replicates the exact strategy that tore Switzerland apart in 2014. It is an approach tailor-made for the chaos of a knockout format. However, leaning entirely on rapid transition play carries its own heavy risks. By consistently skipping their own midfield, Algeria often fails to establish any sustained rhythm, leading to long, agonizing stretches where they surrender possession completely.
Without the ball, the Algerian defensive line is forced to absorb massive waves of pressure. By the 70th minute, that workload creates a severe risk of deep, late-game physical fatigue. Algeria's tactical profile is a high-variance gamble. They willingly sacrifice consistent match control in exchange for a handful of explosive, match-winning peak moments. To see where this match will actually be won, look at the engine room. Granit Xhaka is Switzerland's deep-lying distributor, with roughly 80% of their transition play funneling directly through his boots. Xhaka's tempo control is actually a defensive tool. By dictating the pace and keeping the opposition constantly chasing the ball, he minimizes turnovers and neutralizes counterattacks before they can even start. Algeria's primary countermeasure to this is Ismail Bennacer. His specific job is to hunt the ball, disrupt Xhaka's rhythm, and force those rare Swiss turnovers. If Bennacer's pressing succeeds, the Swiss system breaks bright at its source, presenting Algeria with immediate high-quality scoring chances against an unset defense. This 3-axis radar chart maps out these roles on the pitch, contrasting Xhaka's control with Bennacer's disruption. But look at the final third output metric for Riyad Mahrez. Algeria's ultimate goal is to funnel their transitions directly into isolating Mahrez on the right wing. When we look at expected goals, or XG, a metric measuring the mathematical quality of a scoring chance, Mahrez is uniquely dangerous.
He uses that isolation to generate high XG opportunities out of seemingly dead, stagnant plays. But this tactic comes with a catch. It creates a highly asymmetrical offense. If Switzerland successfully commits a double team to lock Mahrez down, Algeria's entire attack bottlenecks. The overall outcome of this game heavily depends on these two micro-battles, whether Bennacer can rattle Xhaka in the midfield, and whether the Swiss defense can contain Mahrez's high XG isolation out wide. This win probability matrix reveals how game states shift odds. If Algeria scores early, their probability jumps to 65%, forcing Switzerland into an uncomfortable open game. If scoreless past 60 minutes, probability swings to Switzerland at 60%, their stamina outlasting Algeria. For viewers backing Switzerland, you are betting heavily on systemic reliability and superior tournament stamina to outlast the opponent. The trade-off is accepting the inherent risk of a single moment of Mahrez's brilliance, or a recurrence of that 2014 psychological block, abruptly ending their run. For viewers backing Algeria, you are betting on peak potential, raw individual talent, and the confidence of a historical psychological edge to carry them through. But backing them means accepting the extreme volatility of their recent tournament form, hoping it holds up against a Swiss team that rarely makes unforced errors. Ultimately, this match is the definitive test of pacing. It asks whether Switzerland's desire for a controlled chess match can survive Algeria's demand for a chaotic track meet. So, which side of the trade-off do you land on? Do you value structural consistency or bet on an explosive ceiling? Let us know in the comments.